Hi there. All right, so I'm just trying different stuff. I'm trying to have a dinner snack. I don't know, it's too hot to eat regular food. So I'm eating avocados, blueberries over there, and a peach. Um, I'll have another salad in a bit. All right, so I'm calling this, I've already forgotten the name, but basically, it's about how our pop culture has been influenced by spiritual um, stories, not religious stories. I'm not talking about Christianity and all this other stuff. There's a lot going on, so I'm sorry, I'm still adjusting, but there is so many um, trails that I've found, and I was just reminded of yet another one. I was listening to a interview by Paul Wallace, and if you're not sure who that is, he is an author, researcher. Um, he, I think, as far as I know, he's still a minister. But he now does a lot of research in basically human, like where do we come from, really and truly. You know, there's the question that all of us are trying to answer, whether it be through religion, through spirituality, through science. And I separate spirituality from religion because religion to me is like a set of rules or things like that. So we're all trying to answer the same question. Where do we come from, right? And so what I'm noticing is there's so much overlap in this question that it's kind of eerie, and I feel like I know people know it, but I think it needs to be more pointed out in that a lot of discoveries. I'm just going to go with one discovery by Einstein. I can't remember exactly the details, but he was actually reading Isis Unbound by Mata Blavatsky, and she was a spiritualist. So he learned how to meditate, Einstein, through one of her books, teachings. And because of him learning how to meditate, he, came up with what he came up with. That's just one example, okay? Another example, let's see. Um, okay, something I did in my classroom. So every year we have what is our book character parade in our school, where we have our kids dress up as book character, thing, and it's to promote literacy, and it's fun. It's really cool. But it was not. It was 2 years ago that I wanted to do Anansi the spider, and again, if you follow folk tales and African folk tales, you know who I'm talking about, Anansi the spider. And there's a lot of trickster stories around the world, and that's kind of one of the things that made really started me to start putting all these things together. But anyway, let's back to my thing with the parade. So as I was preparing the kids for the parade, of course I wanted them to, be there's various names for Anansi the spider, first of all, that I discovered through my research. So I wanted the kids to be like feeling unique. So not everybody could be Anansi, right? So I found at least, and my class had 22 kids, at least 22 different names for Anansi the spider in the United States and Caribbean and in West Africa. So there was that. Then again, still through my research, I really wish I had documented it somewhere, but and I was just talking about commonplace journals. I wish I had written all of this stuff down. But the Marvel comics, is it Marvel? Yeah, Marvel comics. A lot of people don't realize how much African mythology is not, and I know a lot of people first thing that come to their mind is something like Black Panther. No, there's more. There's more. There's more. So Anansi the spider influenced Spider-Man. So yeah, the reason why we have Spider-Man is because of um, research. I don't even call them researchers because, according to Paul Wallace, it makes sense. Writers are readers. I love to read and I love to write. So, of course, I'm reading stuff and they're reading stuff too. So, writers are looking for source material all the time. What better sources than ancient text? Right? Makes sense to me. So, yeah, Anansi the spider and all of the spider trickster stories and tales around him and all these other characters. Um, I, again, Spider Man. That's example two. Example, let's see. I'll go with the latest one that I discovered. Okay, so if you know the story, the Epic of Gilgamesh, and I'm still learning that one a little bit more. And oh gosh, I just made a connection, another connection. Okay, so let me just say what I need to say. All right, so Epic of Gilgamesh. Um, Gilgamesh was this giant, um, and he did like all these cool stuff, like impossible things. He was also considered like a wild person, like crazy wild man or whatever. Um, so the author of Tarzan, he was influenced by the Epic of Gilgamesh. Sorry, let me see here. Let me just double check so I pull up my other phone. So what I'm trying to say is that it's right here in plain sight. Like it keeps coming. All these stories keeps coming back to us. Um, see, the moment I open up my phone, now everybody's all the pinging. But yeah, so the Epic of Gilgamesh inspired Tarzan. I also, let's see, I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. Okay, the author of Tarzan, he's got like he's one of those people with the three names, like John Jacob, whatever. So he wrote, and my phone is moving slow. It's moving so slow. So what? Yeah, basically, I'm saying is, oh, and I have one final one before I get off of here. So if you also study the New Thought leaders and the New Thought movement, and that was like early 20th century, a lot of writers from that era, like Joseph Campbell, for which I'm about to use him as the example. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Sometimes my mind is faster than the internet. But anyway, Joseph Campbell, he was a writer, New Thought thinker. I don't know if he ever had like classes or anything like that. Joseph Campbell. Let me bite into this peach here. Not quite juicy peach, but it's good. There is a franchise, a current one. I just talked about Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man's been around for a while. Since what, the 40s or 50s, maybe a little later. But there is a newer franchise that a lot of people may or may not know, unless they're like, if they're super into the franchise, they might know. So, um, George Lucas needed, he needed inspiration. So he sought out writers, right? Not to say he's not a writer, but he sought out other writers, looking for a fresh perspective of some of an idea. Oh my goodness, this internet. Oh, you know what's doing it? It's funny. It's like AI. Oh my gosh, really AI? I have nothing against it, but I'm just like I'm trying to. You're in my way. I'm trying to get to Google. You're in the way. Get out of the way. Um, yeah, Joseph Campbell. There we go. American writer. So Joseph Campbell inspired, and that's what I'm typing in. So I want y'all to be able to do this as with me. Inspired. I'm not going to tell you all of it yet. Okay. Ah, yes. George Lucas was an avid admirer of Campbell's writing and used them as a direct reference in his creation of Star Wars. Yes. Joseph Campbell met with George Lucas. Joseph Campbell, um, let's see here. Um, wow, there's a lot here. So yeah, so that's what I'm saying. There's so much where a lot of the spiritual concepts are still being leaked into pop culture. And I think the more that people start to see it, like your mind is going to be blown. Quite honestly, your mind is going to be blown. Okay, so that was the example. That's the biggest example that just kind of blew my mind for a second there because I was like, I know Joseph Campbell. I like him as a writer. Um, I do. I have read a few of his books, but then, like I said, once I found that out that he and George Lucas met and he helped inspire the story of Star Wars, I'm just like, whoa, this is so cool. This is so cool. So, yeah, so I want people to start really thinking about revisiting these stories. They're not as far fetched as most people like to think they are. They're not as far fetched. So, yeah, um, working on my newsletter, and I think it's coming along. I do have a podcast entry on my Substack, though. It is not on YouTube. I think I'm going to move things over to Substack. So if you want to check it out, I'm just putting my drafts and things for my hopefully a book that I'm working on over there. It just seems a little better, in my opinion, to be over there. So yeah, so I do have a podcast entry. I do have some still here on YouTube, um, and I kind of want to keep it that way, like between Substack and YouTube. Maybe I might. I don't know. Yeah, I like these better. I was about to say Instagram, but I'm like, I just don't know about that. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, so check out the rest of my videos out there. Um, and yeah, I got a lot of these gems. I'm trying to put them together, putting together the spirituality, the religion, the I guess the politics, the science, all of them together. It's all the same in the end. Okay. All right. With that, I say take care.